Well, I guess I wasn't kidding when I said Trump is hitting the floor running and steamrolling anybody in his way. This might be the first president that has been talking a big game before they were president, for their campaign to win. Got stuff done even before they stepped into office. Was working on stuff the second he became president, making deals, meeting people, meeting foreign governments, getting stuff done, getting the air conditioner company carrier back in America, Ford, this plant, that plant, back in America, etc. Before he even stepped into office. I mean, that says a lot about somebody, and I know his picks. Again, his picks, Mr. Mnuchin, whatever how the hell you pronounce his damn name, banker extraordinaire, to run the Treasury Secretary. Not happy with some of his picks, but I'm real happy with some of his other picks. The vaccine guy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., his stance on that. He's basically, I've got 3 articles. I'm not reading all of them in full, but Foxconn CEO says investment for display plant, as in TVs, in U.S. would exceed $7 billion. Okay, next headline, Zero Hedge. Trump warns we are going to be imposing a very major border tax. Will cut regulations by 75%. So 2 different things. Major border tax, and we will cut regulations by 75%. That is massive. And then the third thing from Zero Hedge. Trump signs 3 executive orders. Withdraws from the TPP or Trans-Pacific Partnership. Freezes federal hiring and limits overseas abortion funding. So if we give any kind of money out to any entity and it's used overseas, and you use that money for any kind of abortion, any way, shape, or form, not that I know there's more than one way, but you get the point. You're done. You're finished. Okay, that's what he's saying. So let's start with this first one. Foxconn CEO says investment for display plant in U.S. would exceed $7 billion. Now, in case you don't know who Foxconn is the world's largest contract electronics maker there is. Let that sink in. New technology. All of us love our technology. Matter of fact, here's my normal phone my company pays for, my place I work. And here's a second one I had to get today. And let me just tell you something about JSNet4. This one's paid for by my company, so I just pick a phone and they get it. This one, I had to buy myself. This is about a $70 phone or so. Okay? Android, 12 gigs of RAM, 2 gigs hard drive, 2 gigs RAM, 12 gigabyte ROM, if you will, which is essentially the hard drive. And it does have an SD slot. Why? Because my remote control program, I'm about to get her done this year, and I thought I need a separate phone number, business, for the business name that I have. It's attached to. You can buy a 1-800 number for a minimum of like $10 a month. That'll port right over to this. It'll even come with, like an automated attendant. Dial 1 for sales support, dial 2 for technical support, and then my bozo self's the only one that answers every time. But the people don't have to know that. It sounds like a real good professional business until I could build it up and maybe it'll become something. Maybe a mega millionaire or $1 million corporation like TeamViewer or LogMeIn are. They make hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Can I just have like a couple percent of that? 1%? I'll take a percent. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to, I'm trying to live the American dream, trying to do stuff. So I bought that phone today. Point that I was trying to make though, I didn't go buy a $900 iPhone. There is nothing you can do with that piece of garbage that I can't do with that $70 piece of garbage. All essentially made from companies just like Foxconn. One just has a sticker. Remember back when you were in school? Oh, you got Nike Air, you ain't got no Ikes, or Nikes. Oh, they pick on you. You go, oh, Mom, Dad, can I have some Nikes? Honey, those are like $80, $90 shoes. You know, back in the 90s. I know, Mom, I just really want them. Why, son? Well, just because. You didn't want to tell your mom. Well, people are picking on me because I'm wearing these no-name brand shoes. Like, you know. And then here we are, adults, doing the same. I got to have the new iPhone. But then you just get the new iPhone when it came out last? Yeah, I do. So, and that was $700, $800. Yeah. The new iPhone's out. $800, $900. Yeah. Why do you need that as opposed to the last model or the previous model before that or the previous model before that one? They all do the same stuff. They can all access the same apps and everything, right? Correct? Well, yeah, but this one's got a little bit stronger processor. You know, a little more RAM. You know, instead of a 32 gigabyte ROM, it's now got 64. And you use all that? No, I never even used the 32. How about that super powerful processor? You use that? Well, I don't know. I play games and stuff. You're right. Remember, $70 phone. I play all those games too. I could, you know, whatever. We gotta get our priorities straight. Anyways, off of the side rant. Foxconn is the world's largest contract electronics maker, and it is considering setting up a display making plant in the United States in an investment that would exceed $7 billion. Company chairman and chief executive Tony Go said on Sunday. Sunday. Buy the whole seat, you only need the edge. I've been hearing that crap on the radio all like monster truck season over here in Tampa right now. Sunday. The plans come after U.S. President Donald Trump. Notice how it doesn't say President-elect or any, U.S. President Donald Trump. That should just roll off your tongue, eat with ease. It just sounds so good, doesn't it? Pledged to put America first in his inauguration speech on Friday, prompting Mr. Gao to warn about the rise of protectionism and a trend for politics to underpin economic development. Foxconn's proposal to build a display plant, which would be planned with its Sharp Corp unit, depend on many factors such as investment conditions that would have to be negotiated at the U.S. state and federal levels, Gao told reporters on the sidelines of a company event. He said that Foxconn, formerly known as Han Hai Precision Industry, had been considering such a move for years, but the issue came up when Foxconn business partner Masayoshi Son, head of Japan's SoftBank Group Corp, talked to him before a December meeting Mr. Son had with Trump. So in other words, hey, listen, I talked to Trump back, when he was president-elect, he was trying to get the ball rolling. I talked to him, listen, he's going to make some pretty sweet deals for everybody. To literally, I hate to keep saying that, Mr. What was the first guy's name? Mr. Gao. He really wants to make America great again. And while he's at it, we can make some money doing it. So it's kind of a win-win for us. Let's have a talk with him. So that's how that one's going. Next, Trump warns, again, we are zero hedge, we are going to be imposing a very major border tax. We will cut regulations by 75%. What I like about that sentence, as soon as I hear that, the cut regulations by 75%, is a I think of this documentary my wife and I saw. Again, I think it's on Netflix. You can find it, I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, I can't remember what the title was. It might have been, I don't know if it was Food Inc. or one of the other ones. But it was a farmer, American farmer, small operation, but he had 5 or 6 people working for him. And he was saying how these damn regulations that they make specifically for Big Farm Inc., factory farmers, that they now have to follow. Oh, your cows can't eat in the same field that they use the bathroom in, and they can't have this and that. And he's like, well, so a cow can't be a cow anymore. No, they've got to be separate. The poop and the pee has to be on this side of the fence, and that's that fence, And if you don't follow the guidelines, we'll shut you down. Well, that makes sense for a big factory farm because the cows can't move anyways. So they can't just sit there and pee and poop all over themselves and then get, the little things hooked up to their nipples or teats, if you will, and milk the cow, whether, machine or not. Well, it's just way too unsanitary with that much pee and poop all over the place. The cow can't move. It's unhealthy. We got to give it all these shots. So they take those guidelines and say, well, it's a broad guideline. Here you go. When in reality, they could have said, well, if you meet these conditions, you're a factory farm. If you meet these conditions, you are an organic farmer, if you will, and have two separate sets. That would have been okay. But no, big government has to come in because, again, even the little farmers do pose some competition problems for the big guys. And nobody likes competition. How do we get rid of our competition? Well, we have our buddies who work in government who can write regulations and stuff and regulate the hell out of these people till they go away. Thank your lucky stars that Donald Trump is in the House, so to speak. The White House, that is. If he's going to cut regulations by 75%, it's going to be a positive thing because I want you to think of some other things. Like, for example, you want to start a business, and I'm just, I could use the same farm example, but let me go into maybe marijuana growth for, medicinal purposes. Florida's getting ready to get started with that. But like Colorado, well, you gotta have a plant. The plant can only be this, these far parts, and you gotta be growing indoors. And the front of the store has to be, your warehouse has to have a front store face, so the store face has to be facing the road, and then the warehouse behind it. But you can't take the money that you get from this because the federal government still thinks marijuana is illegal. So if you put that money inside the bank, they'll confiscate it because you were using drug money to put in the bank. So these people have to buy vaults and put them in their facilities and store cash, tons of cash inside the vault. Like, what is all this? Cut the regulation. In other words, cut the crap. Because people have to run and jump through hoops. It would make it so much easier to just say, look, right and wrong. Here's the bottom line. Things you can and can't do. That's it. None of this crap. Well, the plants have to be 2 feet apart. You can't stack. If you have a stacker system, you can't stack more than, The guy's growing stuff. Let the farmer grow his stuff. If he can grow it and it works, it's fine. Get out of the way. Again, Trump will steamroll you. And that's what he's doing. That's what we need a picture of. I need a picture of Trump on a damn steamroller with holding a gun gangster style out the side of it to a bunch of sissy, pink hat wearing, LGBT, all of them that we've seen protesting, the ones causing all the problem, stopping, pointing the gun at them, saying, "Get in, sissies. We're going to make America great again." That's what I want to see. I want to see a sign that says that. Anyone got a picture you can make me? Appreciate that. So one look at the dollar index in the last week, and it's clear just how variable President Trump's position has been on trade and so-called border adjustments. In the space of a few days, he has swung from being against a border adjustment to possibly being for it, and now today confirming that we are going to impose a major border tax. Yen, peso, and loonie, as in the Canadian dollar, are all sliding further on the headline. Specifically, as the clip shows, which I'm not going to play it, Trump promised business leaders a very major border tax, and he said he would cut regulations by 75%. Trump held a breakfast meeting with the business leaders he named to an advisory panel on manufacturing, led by Andrew Liveris, Chief Executive Officer of Dow Chemical Company. Other business leaders at the morning meeting with Trump included Michael Dell, Chairman and CEO of Dell Incorporated, Jeff Fatigue, Chairman and CEO of Whirlpool, washer, dryers, etc., refrigerators, Mark Fields, President and CEO of Ford Motor Company, and Marilyn Hewson, Chairman and CEO of Lockheed Martin Corporation. Now that's an interesting one as far as I'm concerned. And some of his major quotes were to these people: "We're trying to get it down from 15 to 20%, and it's now 35%, but it's probably more 38% than it is 35%. And he's talking about taxes, I'm assuming. What we want to do is bring manufacturing back. It's what the people wanted. What we want is fair trade. That doesn't mean we don't trade, because we do trade. If you go to another country and cut thousands of jobs, we are going to be imposing a very major border tax on the product that comes in. You are great people, he told the CEOs. I'm a very big person when it comes to the environment, he says, but some of that stuff makes it impossible to get anything done or anything built. So this is later in the day, Trump will meet with a group of labor leaders and U.S. workers according to his public schedule. In between, he'll sign executive orders related to trade and labor issues. An administration official said that the official didn't provide further details on the orders. And an instant reaction from that is a jolt higher in the U.S. dollar against other currencies. And then finally, these 3 executive orders, which is the ones I'm sure they were talking about that he was going to sign. Withdraw from the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, freeze federal hiring, and limit overseas abortion funding. As Zero Hedge previously said, and was widely expected, President Trump has signed 3 executive orders, one officially withdrawing the U.S. from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a second one instituting a federal hiring freeze, except for the military, of course, and a third executive order limiting abortion funding overseas. Quote, he said, it's a great thing for the American worker, what we just did. That was on Monday, after signing an executive order withdrawing the U.S. from the Trans-Pacific Partnership Accord with 11 other nations. He didn't sign any actions to direct a negotiation of the NAFTA Accord with Mexico and Canada, yet he said on Sunday he would begin talks with the 2 leaders on modifying the accord. Quote, we've been talking about this a long time, he said. As the AP notes, the move is basically a formality since the agreement had yet to receive required Senate ratification. Trade experts say that approval was unlikely to happen given voters' anxiety about trade deals and the potential for job losses. It remains unclear if Trump would seek individual deals with the 11 other nations in TPP, a group that represents roughly 13.5% of the global economy, according to the World Bank figures. Trump has blamed past trade deals such as the North American Free Trade Agreement and China's entrance into the World Trade Organization for a decline in U.S. factory jobs, which that's exactly true. How many times have we seen these sweatshops in China? They've made documentaries on them. These people, like some of them have died because they're working too much. Others, because they're getting paid so little, they have to work so long that they almost don't even have time to get the proper amount of sleep at night. And they cram them all in these rooms. You know, again, that's why they call them sweatshops, exactly what they are. But for a company over here to use the labor over there to make this product and bring it back over, including all the shipping and everything, it still makes way more sense. It's still cheaper than just hiring some Americans to do that job, because they are working on absolute slave labor. So Trump's actually going to be doing a good thing in a sense. You're stopping the slave labor type of activity in some of these other countries, namely China, and of course India is included too, by taking those companies and bringing them back to America and telling them, you can go ahead and go over there if you want. We're not going to stop you, but I'm going to tax the living hell out of you if you try to sell that garbage back to us. Not garbage, whatever. The product back to us. So what does the CEO say? Well, in that case, maybe we need to go work with them here. And like he said, and again, I'm trying to get these tax rates way down for you guys. This could be a great thing. We're just going to have to wait and see. Again, I'm still trying to figure out I mean, I kind of know something has to be done with this massive national debt we have. Unfunded liabilities left and right. I mean, the other thing, the individual mandate healthcare, the part that I hated the most. I don't want healthcare. Don't make me pay for it. It's not fair that I have to pay for other people's problems or them pay for mine. I don't want to be taxed because I chose not to buy a product. That's bullcrap. So they're saying he's already working on that. They made a few things about how they're getting ready to dismantle the, ACA or Affordable Care Act. Don't you love that name? Affordable Care Act. There's not even a teeny speck of sand of any part of that that's affordable. Unless you are absolutely dirt poor and you get the subsidy. In that case, you're loving life. But again, and unfortunately, you're the minority of the numbers out there. I don't mean minority as in black, white, Spanish. No. Minority as in a simple minority of people. You're a teeny tiny percent of the population that benefits. It doesn't make sense ever to put a giant boulder on everyone else's back, so to speak, so that a tiny minority can get, great subsidized health care. Doesn't make sense. But when you're a liberal, you're a socialist, doesn't matter. You take from here to give to there, because over there are the votes, and over here, we don't care. You got the money, we'll take it from you. And then when you're pissed off enough, we'll promise you everything. We'll get one of our guys in there, tell you all the crap you want to hear, and then once you vote him in, he'll be doing the same crap to you guys. And somehow we got lucky that Donald Trump made it. All these prophecies, the Baba Vanga, 80% accuracy, as I said the other day. 44th president will be a black man. He will be the last because of a major devastating economic problem. Said many, many decades ago, apparently. She died in 96. But didn't have 100% accuracy rating. Now, my thing is, yeah, Trump's in there, but I still think the other part of her prophecy may come true. Devastating economic problem. The world is already experiencing one right now just because our dollar is going so high. They're already suffering, by the way. So it has to be dealt with. I'd love to see how it ends up getting dealt with. And it'd be great if they just all agreed behind closed doors to just have a controlled collapse. That's not as bad as anyone ever thought, including myself. We got it wrong. It's not that bad. Matter of fact, 2008 was worse. Wouldn't that be lovely? But my spider senses say no, that's not going to happen, because we're way more indebted than 2008. The banks have grown way larger than 2008, and by the way, more insolvent than they were in 2008. So, on that note, take care.